Hello, hello, amazing people. How are we all today? I've got the beautiful Marissa here with us, and already at the start of the batch, we've got a few glitches. Welcome to High Vibe Chats with Marie. I am your host. We had a beautiful guest on early this morning, and I'm hoping beautiful Marissa will be able to jump on with us. I was literally just talking to her before, but she was a bit mindful of different glitches. Here we go. I can see you now and I can feel you. And we were just talking about
for 2 seconds and jump back on.
amazing. And, we're going to deal with the glitches. So it's all good. If you are tuning in, High Vibe Chats is a beautiful segment I created to have amazing guests on from around the world. Women, mums, women that work with mums, and originally it started as a High Vibe Mum Chat, but I've expanded it to High Vibe Chats so we could, share these messages, share these stories with more women around the world, and be able to be inspired, be empowered. And I really look forward to, connecting with amazing people. It's so beautiful to have everybody here this afternoon here in Australia with beautiful guest Marissa, who is on High Vibe Chats with myself, your host Marie. And I met beautiful Marissa through the Women Thrive space. And I've had amazing guests on from this network of women. And yeah, Marissa, I met at the end of last year, and we were popped in a group together, and it was so refreshing to hear another Aussie accent and hear the work that you were doing, and it felt so aligned to just connect and get to know you a little bit more. But I'd love for you to share, Marissa, who you are, what you do, and how you're of service to the people in your world.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so enjoying your company, and it's been so great to get to know you and connect with you as well. Sorry about that little glitch. I was like, I don't know if it's going to work. And then it started okay. And then, you've just got to roll with it sometimes. So yes, my name is Marissa. I'm a hypnotherapist and transformational consultant. So I work with RTT, rapid transformational therapy, quantum healing hypnosis, so past life regression, somatic and tantric embodiment, breath work, and sound healing. So I kind of feel like I do it all. I do a lot, but each modality really does work very differently together. So I started originally just doing the RTT, and I realized that it's so easy to work on the mind and to heal things within the mind. But if there's that disconnect happening between the mind and the body, then it's harder to navigate through life and through challenges through everyday life. And especially if you're dealing with people that have had trauma, it hasn't felt safe to feel within the body and to be within the body. So a lot of the work that I do through the somatic and tantric embodiment is really bringing that connection back in between the mind and the body, and helping them to be able to navigate through life a little bit easier with that emotional regulation skills, because they can tune more back into their body rather than being so caught in their head and just in the thoughts and in the mind.
Yeah, I love that. And that emotional regulation and understanding those parts of ourself, I feel is something that is being more spoken about, with people like yourself, like me, other amazing men and women doing this work, because that sense of safety and that emotional resilience we're building for ourselves, particularly after experiencing trauma, and it can look like many different events or moments in our lives that can impact us now as adults. And I think it's really beautiful the work you're doing. Like, what led you down this path? What inspired you to kind of go down this beautiful spiritual but also intellectual embodied path of looking at these alternative holistic methods? Like, what was your, I suppose, spark that led you down here?
Yeah, I guess every modality that I offer now, it has been a combination through things that I have used and tried myself. And for me, you know, like, so 4 years ago this year, actually, I lost my father, and my whole world imploded, and I just completely was like, what am I doing with my life? You know, like, nothing makes you face the mortality of life faster than death, right? And I just was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, this is not how I want to be living my life. Like, when I'm dying, what will people think about, you know, what stories will I have to tell about my life, right? And I just was like, it was like my no more moment. And I just was like, I don't want to live like this anymore. Things need to change. And so I went off on this like massive soul journey. I traveled through South America for 4.5 months, and just really took time out, I guess, to have that time and space to be able to heal and to process through things. And um yeah, just like really reconnect back to me and to find my life purpose. And you know, you don't always need to go and sit in a jungle for, you know, a few months to be able to align to your life purpose. So I guess it kind of, through a lot of experiences and the work that I had done on myself, led me to the work that I'm doing now. And I had an RTT session, and it was just phenomenal. It was amazing. And the results that I could achieve were amazing. So I went down the road of studying it. And then I've had amazing results with my clients as well, with the success that they've had. And then adding on the additions of the different modalities. And you know, it's so beautiful. Like, I quite often hear from my clients like months and years later, and they're still having amazing results in their life. Like, the work that I do truly isn't just for now, it is lifetime and life lasting changes. And, you know, I like look at where I guess I am now, and it's like, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like weird when you look at your life, right? Because you look at it at different stages, and you look back and you go, oh my gosh, like, I was a different version of myself then and a different version there. And then you kind of connect the dots between experiences and realize why things had to happen the way they had to happen. And yeah, so for me now, I guess I try to accelerate the results with my clients. So rather than them feeling like, you know, they have to go on a big soul journey to be able to connect with their life purpose and to make changes, I really want to be able to help them to make change easy. So how can they make change in their everyday life to be able to bring about big life changes for them?
Oh, I love that. I love that perspective, and listening to your soul's calling for change, to question like these parts of our identity that we shift through and shed over time because we're growing and evolving, and um, questioning a whole heap of things, I think is really important. And we're doing that so often. And I think about, the big questions that my daughter, who's almost 8, asks about life and death, and, well, why are you doing this? Or, for me, I shifted out of mainstream teaching last year, and her questions of like, well, what are you doing now, and why are you doing that,
Mm,
and being able to share that mission and share this growing identity that I've been evolving, and her witnessing that, to show that there are other ways, and to listen deep within your heart. And that has been an interesting process for my own personal life, that then I get to also share with clients and leaders and people that are ready to dive deep and take that courage as well, like you did,
mm,
in, traveling the world and just having that time away to reflect. I suppose in your own life, Marissa, noticing now these beautiful openings that are happening in your experience, like, what are some of the just simple daily things that you not only help clients with, but you actually embody? What are, like, maybe, a couple of key things that you just are like, these are my non-negotiables, or these are my rituals that I do? Like, what are some really simple things that we could share with anyone that's listening that you advise people on and you embody?
yeah, I feel like everything I do in my life is intentional. And like, every single area of my life is not very well thought out to the point that it's like controlled, but it's the fact that it's like there's that energy and intention behind everything that I do. So I try to not like mindlessly scroll through my phone. If I do go on social media, it's to go on with an intention. And you know, I try to be very mindful of of every area of my life. So my mental, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, like every single area needs to be in harmony and equilibrium. And my energy, like keeping my energy at a certain level and frequency, is also really important to me, because that is what helps me to continue to do the work to the level that I'm doing, and to be able to help my clients as much as possible. So, you know, if I don't look after myself, then I can't show up as the best version of myself, which means that I can't show up as the best version of myself to help my clients, but also it's the world around you, right? So, and I feel like, you know, they say that change comes from within and change starts from one person, and it does. And life change, big change, comes from that one person making that one change, and it's that ripple effect through. So, by you showing up differently, and you come home and then you're a different mother, and then you have a different experience with your husband who goes off to work and has different experiences with his co-workers, or your children go to school and have a different interaction with their teacher who goes home. So that's the ripple effect of that rising of the global consciousness. But it starts at that like macro, like micro level, right? So it's like, okay, how can you show up with more intention for yourself? How can you show up as the best version of yourself for yourself, first of all? So for me, like my non-negotiables is like very, you know, very clean eating. Like I try to monitor what I'm eating in terms of like clean food. I don't have a lot of processed food, if at all. Exercise as well is really important for me, because it's that time of the day. I book it in like an appointment in my calendar, so I know that I've got that commitment to go. No matter what's happening, it's like I've made a commitment to myself to show up, because my health is also important. Because if you don't have your health, you know, when you're older, like, and it doesn't matter how much money you have in the world, if you don't have good health, you know, you don't have good health. um yeah, and water as well. And every morning, like I have a cacao or a chai, so I take that time to like brew it and make it, and intentionally. And then, you know, when you're making it, I have those moments of like reflection or whatever. And meditation also for me is a really important thing. So every night I'll do like a meditation, which just helps to clear my mind and reset. And yeah, I love breath work as well. So having breath work, if I don't do it daily, at least a couple of times a week, just to really pull the work, you know, pull myself out of my head and back into my body. So yeah, the modalities I do with my clients, I do try to embody on a daily basis. So again, it's that reinforcement. And big change, like big life change, comes from that habitual layer stacking of those daily habits and daily shifts. So you can never be picked up and dropped into a new life. You have to make changes gradually. It's like building a house. It's, you know, one brick at a time, at a time, at a time. And then you, at the end, have an amazing house that you're living in. But it just starts off with that one step first.
Yeah, those baby steps matter. Like you said, looking at the micro parts of ourselves in our feelings and our emotions and our mindset, in that deep gratitude. And I know, you know, when I was experiencing massive transformation and shifting out of trauma, you know, after experiencing miscarriages, and my identity and my purpose and what it is to be a mother that society was telling me, and all of these pieces, it was like the one step at a time. And it was like you know, with your experience of like, I don't want this life to be one of waste. Like, what am I doing with my life? What is my purpose? If I want to rise into being the best version for myself and my family, you know, my daughter, my husband, the people around me, I gotta stop this feeling this victim, you know,
Yeah.
the beautiful lessons and shifting my mindset that, you know, and coming from that teacher world and that realm of like the lessons and those pieces, it was like a massive wake up call to go, well, I want to be the most grandest part of, I want to live grand. I want to live like the miracle I am. And in order to be the blessing, you know, how can I then bless others? How can I be of service? How can I give more and do that efficiently without becoming the martyr, which is what
Yes.
I was doing, was to come back to self, like you said, that self-care, eating good food, sleeping well, actually shifting my own mindset to look myself in the mirror and go, I love you. You're freaking amazing. Because I wasn't doing that. And I would have these amazing young women around me, and I'd be doing all the confidence things of like, you're beautiful, you're so intelligent, you can do all these amazing things. Why are you putting yourself down? And I wasn't doing that for myself. And it
Mm.
was like to actually embody that took time. And there were still parts of my ego and parts of myself that were like, stop fooling yourself, stop like almost sabotaging,
Yeah.
and putting me down. And I'm sure you come across that too, and not only with yourself, but with your clients. You know, how do we befriend that more? How do we, because it's part of our ego, it's part of the brain, it's part of those mechanisms to keep us safe and those things. And very aware, intelligent people can be aware of these signs, but sometimes those negative thoughts and patterns do creep back up again. So, how do you deal with sometimes those moments where you feel overwhelmed or anxiety? And it's like, how dare you think so big that you're going to do this? Or it's like, hang on a second. Who's that speaking? I'd love to for your insights on that side of things.
Yeah, and do you know, it's kind of in alignment with what you were saying about with that victim mindset as well. It's like, I'm not going to say that I don't have moments where self-doubt doesn't creep in. Of course it does. Like everyone's human, right? Like you're going to have moments where you're like, what are you doing? Like who are you to think that you can do this, right? And it's like the higher you elevate and evolve, like, you've got a different glass ceiling to break through, but everyone's moving through different barriers, right? It's just that everyone had to start somewhere. And I truly am just a normal person who went through many life experiences in their life, not just in the last few years, but throughout my entire life. I've had a very full, colorful life. And, I'm just one of those people that just did the work. And I'm not going to say it was easy. Like there's been many moments where I would also want to just like, it's so easy, right, to just binge out on Netflix or whatever, or just eat the junk food, or, just to get drunk and numb out. Like there are easy options out there, right? It's not comfortable to sit within yourself, but I guess the difference is that I have sat within myself. And I think a pivotal turning point for me was like actually sitting in and facing the deep, dark abyss of myself and of my soul, and really looking at my life and taking self accountability and self responsibility, letting go the victim mindset in some areas and being like, oh, well, because this happened and that led to that, and then that made me be like this or whatever, right? Like, it's like, okay, well, it did happen and it's not going to change that situation, but then also having self-compassion and go, okay, that event did happen. And you did the best that you could do with the resources you had at the time. If it happened now, you would respond differently because you have a different level of awareness and growth and mindset. So I think it's about meeting you where you are at the level that you're at, and just having determination and consistency and just not giving up, because it is uncomfortable. But once you get on the other side, the magic and the bliss that comes on the other side to living a life that you truly love. And I know it's such a cliche and there's like that thing going around the moment and everyone's like, oh, you must be Delulu, like living your best life. And it's like, who's really living their best life? And I'm like, I bloody am. There are people that are doing it, right? Like it's not Delulu, like it is a real thing, right? But you have to do the hard work to get there. So I guess just knowing that it is safe to sit within yourself and to face yourself, because you are just you facing you, and everyone has things within themselves that, is uncomfortable to face. But when that true inner freedom comes from being brave enough to sit in with yourself, to really take accountability over yourself in your life, to realize that you are the creator of your life, and things that may have happened to you, but they're not happening for you. And the
Mm,
way you perceive those events is within your control. The way those events alter and affect the course of your life is in your control. You may not have had any control over that event happening to you, but what you choose to impact on your life after that is in your control. And again, once you can face that part within yourself, it's like, it doesn't matter what anyone says around me or says about me. It doesn't really matter, because nothing can even come close to how uncomfortable it is or was to sit within myself and to face the darkest parts of myself and to shine a light on them and to come out on the other side of that. And that's where, for me, where true freedom came from. And again, it's like, that inner critic, like we say things to ourselves that we would never say to another person. And when you can really like confront that and shine the mirror on it, you're taking away the power and you're taking back your power and control in another way. And then that's where that empowerment comes from.
mm. So beautifully said. And it's when we face ourselves, it's not just a matter of, going on a retreat or like going into plant medicine and doing it once. This is continual. These are moments where, you know, because it's like, oh, I did the thing and I'm healed. Yeah, I suppose we're never broken, really. But it's like these continual parts of ourselves to keep reflecting, to keep growing, to keep also accepting ourselves, like you said, as we are in this moment,
Mm.
because it's that eternal now that we are experiencing. And, even I suppose for people that are evolutionary evolved, or those people that you see that are enlightened, they're like, oh wow, they've got so much wisdom. There are still always more layers. I had a moment even last week with two amazing women, and I do pride myself in like being really emotionally intelligent and aware, and doing the work and shifting through things. But then it was like in the moment there was more deep stuff when I was like, oh, okay, and I was in a safe space to like release more. And it was like deeper spiritual pieces that I had vowed to myself many, many eons ago that wasn't just about this lifetime. There was like other layers, if you want to go deeper into it, that it was like, oh, wow, this is something that's been locked in within me that's beyond this lifetime, that's a bit more, that in meeting people that align with your values and your growth, you just have these amazing people that start to surround you and help guide you through unlocking these pieces, as well, to come back into wholeness, because we are separate but we are whole. And I love those pieces that you said about self-compassion in those moments, that okay, that may have been something that was vowed many years ago or eons ago, what lifetimes ago. Just to acknowledge it, let it go. This is not you now. And part of me was like, this is not mine. This is not me. I do not have to own those pieces anymore. And then it was like this lightness that returned. And it was this constant, even in your intimate relationships, for the parents listening out there with your children, with your partners, with your friends, it's these continual openings of
Mm.
passion, of connection. And I love that you're just like claiming that, yes, it is possible. I see all these amazing people like yourself, and noticing the blessings, like how blessed am I to have this beautiful home, to, have people in my field, to talk to someone like you, to have the capacity to interview people and share my voice, noticing the blessings, noticing those parts of ourselves. And I know that positive mindset can be very easeful, but it can also be hard to get there too. And like you said, balancing that within yourself is very important.
And I
And
think it's that recalibration as well. It's like you will have moments where that voice pops into your head, but it's how fast can you squash that voice down? It's not about saying that you'll never have those thoughts again, because it's like then that fake positivity, right? It's like, no, this is real life. You will have challenges that come up and you'll have situations, and life isn't perfect every single day. But having a skill set and resources and inner knowledge to be able to navigate through those is what's important. And I think this is the difference as well between people when you look at them and they seem to have this perceived level of success or life or whatever way they're living, right? It's like a lot of these people are normal people. They're just like normal people. They've started somewhere, they've had experiences. The only difference is that they continually had that consistency with showing up every single day, making changes, small little changes in areas that they can. And those big, small changes come up to big changes. So then you can move forward a lot easier and access tools and resources within yourself a lot easier.
I love that. And those small changes take a lot of courage sometimes to even do that thing.
Yeah.
And that beautiful piece of self-compassion, and holding yourself accountable to take action and to do those baby steps and to show up for yourself. So I love that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a beautiful way to end, because I know you're showing up for yourself in many spaces. I mean, you're traveling across to another country. You've written your own chapter for an amazing book. You're again showing up for yourself and wanting to share your passion, your mission, your beautiful services. What's coming up for you in the next, I suppose, couple of weeks?
Well, I guess there's so much in the next few months, but in the next few weeks. So yeah, next week I'm flying to Vegas. I'm going to be a keynote speaker at an event, and content day as well. So if any of the viewers are around Vegas, I'd love to see you at the event. And what else have I got coming up? And then I get back and we've got our amazing face-to-face event that weekend that I arrive back. I'm so excited to do an actual in-person event. So that's amazing. And then at the end of March, we've got the Women Thrive Summit as well. So many amazing opportunities. And yeah, and I can't wait to connect with everybody a lot further and yeah, see everyone face to face too. There's something magic about that collective of everyone being together in person.
Oh, I love that. What a beautiful segue. If anyone's listening in that is local in Queensland, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast area, I mean, even if you're interstate, we've got this beautiful Thrive Talks event, and both Marissa and I are speaking at this event with our keynote speeches, which is linked to the summit, but also that beautiful piece of connecting, empowerment, inspiration in person with other amazing women that are coming along to join us, and creating that platform and that space to inspire and to share stories has been also part of our beautiful mentor, Ramonda, who's the founder of Women Thrive, and us initiating the Thrive Talks event here in Australia has been a team effort of getting the amazing speakers to come through. So 2nd of March, Saturday, 2nd of March, you'll be able to see both Marissa and myself and the other amazing speakers. And we'd love to see you there. And Marissa, if people want to connect with you, how can they find you?
Yeah, best places would be Instagram. So just my name, Marissa Warren, and my website as well. So they can always book a free discovery call via my website if they're interested in my services or just want to have a chat and connect further. Yeah, and thank you so much for your time. And it's so
Oh,
lovely to be introduced to your beautiful community.
thanks, Marissa. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.